Blockbuster originally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy about 6 months ago. It said it would keep all 3,300 stores open, but tonight, as you can see at this Easttown store, it just could not survive.
In the year 2000, Blockbuster was everywhere. More than 9,000 stores stretched across the world. Families piled into cars every Friday night, racing through aisles of VHS tapes, grabbing popcorn and candy, negotiating which film to watch. Blockbuster wasn't just a store, it was a ritual, a cornerstone of suburban culture, and a shared experience that defined an era. That same year, a tiny company called Netflix knocked on Blockbuster's door. They asked for $50 million to sell their business. Blockbuster executives laughed them out of the room. 10 years later, Blockbuster was bankrupt. Netflix was worth billions. Blockbuster had everything: the customer base, the brand recognition, the market share, the trust of Hollywood. Yet arrogance, greed, and one fateful decision brought the empire down. What should have been a story of dominance became one of the greatest corporate collapses in history. Blockbuster was founded in 1985 in Dallas, Texas, by David Cook. Unlike mom-and-pop rental shops, Blockbuster used a computerized inventory system. Stores carried thousands of titles, with bright blue and yellow branding that stood out on every street. Families instantly recognized the logo. Within a few years, Blockbuster expanded across the United States and soon internationally. By the 1990s, Blockbuster was the largest video rental chain in the world. Friday night visits became a cultural ritual. Children darted down aisles in search of cartoons, teenagers grabbed the latest horror releases, parents debated over dramas and thrillers. Everyone had memories of standing under the fluorescent lights, trying to agree on what to rent before the shelves were emptied of the newest hit. At its peak, Blockbuster was opening a new store every 17 hours. In 1994, Viacom purchased the company for $8.4 billion. Analysts called it the McDonald's of movies, a business model that seemed destined to last forever. Blockbuster was no longer just a store, it was a cultural institution. The 1990s represented the golden age of VHS. Renting tapes was affordable and accessible. A rental cost around $3, and for most households, it was cheaper than going to the theatre. But there was a catch: the dreaded late fees. Late fees became infamous. Forget to return a tape on time, and Blockbuster charged extra, sometimes more than the rental itself. Customers hated it, but for Blockbuster, it was a cash cow. By the end of the decade, late fees generated nearly $800 million annually, about 16% of total revenue. Despite the complaints, the business thrived. Hollywood embraced the partnership, striking deals with Blockbuster to share profits from rentals. Studios relied on Blockbuster to push their films into homes across the country. The chain had 65 million registered customers. If you wanted a movie night at home, you went to Blockbuster. But technology was changing. DVDs were replacing VHS tapes. They were smaller, cheaper to produce, and easier to ship. Meanwhile, the internet was beginning to reshape commerce itself. In 1997, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph founded Netflix. Their idea was simple but radical: rent DVDs by mail. Customers browsed an online catalog, built queues, and received discs delivered directly to their doors. Netflix introduced subscriptions. No late fees, no return deadlines, just monthly payments. At first, Netflix seemed small. Blockbuster executives dismissed it. Why would anyone wait several days for a DVD to arrive when they could walk into a Blockbuster and grab one instantly? But Netflix wasn't betting on mail. It was betting on a coming revolution: convenience powered by the internet. In 2000, Netflix was struggling financially. The dot-com bubble had burst. Hastings and Randolph flew to Dallas to meet Blockbuster. They offered to sell their company for $50 million. Their idea was to join forces. Blockbuster could handle stores, while Netflix managed an online division. Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco, listened, and then laughed them out of the room. To Blockbuster, Netflix was a joke. That decision became one of the most expensive mistakes in corporate history. As Netflix grew, Blockbuster stumbled. In 2004, under John Antioco, Blockbuster tried to fix its reputation by eliminating late fees. Customers celebrated, but Wall Street panicked. Late fees had been a huge revenue stream, and without them, Blockbuster's financial position weakened. Antioco pushed for innovation. He supported a subscription model to compete with Netflix and invested in online rentals. But internal politics derailed the effort. Activist investor Carl Icahn fought for control of the board. Executives feared alienating shareholders. In the struggle, vision gave way to short-term survival. Blockbuster doubled down on physical stores instead of embracing the digital shift. Meanwhile, Netflix refined its model. Customers praised the freedom of no late fees and the convenience of home delivery. By 2007, Netflix took its next leap, streaming. For the first time, movies were available instantly on the internet. Blockbuster still had every advantage: 9,000 stores, millions of customers, global brand recognition. But it hesitated. Executives feared cannibalizing in-store revenue. They chose to protect the goose while ignoring the future. Netflix leaned into disruption. Blockbuster feared it. By the mid-2000s, Blockbuster was still a global empire, but debt was piling up. Viacom spun the company off. Competitors attacked from every angle. Redbox offered $1 rentals at kiosks in grocery stores and convenience outlets. Customers flocked to them. In 2008, Blockbuster's new CEO, Jim Keyes, made a bold statement. Neither Redbox nor Netflix are even on the radar screen in terms of competition. It was arrogance. Within 2 years, both companies would cripple Blockbuster. Netflix expanded streaming libraries, striking deals with studios. Redbox machines popped up in nearly every neighborhood, undercutting Blockbuster's prices. Consumers had more options than ever, and Blockbuster was no longer the default. By 2010, Blockbuster was drowning in $1 billion of debt. Stores closed in waves. Once busy aisles stood empty. Customers abandoned the brand for cheaper, more convenient options. In September of that year, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Dish Network acquired what was left for $320 million in 2011, a fraction of its former value. The new owners experimented with keeping stores alive, but the magic was gone. Blockbuster had gone from a $6 billion valuation to bankruptcy in less than a decade. The fall of Blockbuster wasn't just financial, it was cultural. Families lost a Friday night ritual. The joy of walking through aisles, arguing over movies, grabbing candy at the counter, and discovering hidden gems disappeared. The experience of being part of a communal movie culture gave way to solitary streaming at home. Nostalgia still lingers. Documentaries, retro merchandise, and the last remaining Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon, keep the memory alive. But nostalgia alone cannot resurrect an empire. Blockbuster had everything it needed to survive. It had the market share, the customer trust, the resources to innovate. It even had the chance to buy Netflix for less than the price of one summer Blockbuster film. But arrogance, greed, and short-term thinking blinded its leaders. Netflix embraced the future. Blockbuster clung to the past. The result was inevitable. The goose was slaughtered. The decision to laugh Netflix out of the room in 2000 became a turning point in corporate history, a $6 billion mistake that destroyed an empire. The fall of Blockbuster stands as a warning. When companies ignore change, dismiss innovation, and betray customer trust, they write their own obituaries. Blockbuster thought it was invincible. Instead, it became a punchline. So what about you? Do you miss the Friday night Blockbuster ritual, or are you glad streaming replaced it?